All right. So I've had it on my mind to talk about AI for a while because this is a topic that is really prevalent right now, but also I have some pretty spicy feelings about it. Okay. So the first thing I want to say is, although I think AI functionally as a concept is cool, and also admittedly I do use it, uh, mostly just like for language models, I'm an AI hater, right? What bothers me, though, is less the people that love AI, although they're fun to troll and can be very annoying. It's the people that don't know how to hate AI correctly. You're all out here hating like Dr. Sean Murphy, and I'm Dr. House, right? Get good. Actually learn how to competitively hate with a passion on AI. And it doesn't mean that I completely hate all aspects. It's not necessarily the AI itself. As I might have mentioned already and we'll go into, I do use AI in certain ways. It's the negative consequences of AI at this scale. And I'd like to elaborate on that because it pisses me off to no end. There's a bunch of reasons for someone to hate on AI. Some of them I'm going to agree with, others I'm going to disagree with. But then there's things that I just vehemently hate with a passion, okay? So let's start off with number one, which is that AI will never be as good as humans will. This is fucking bullshit, okay? Now, it's true that there have been issues with AI recently, and also that AI is very clearly still flawed, right? We have LLMs, which aren't perfect, technically multi-model models now, right? But when people talk about like, oh, look, the AI is piss yellow, like, it's hilarious. And it's a big symptom of AI backfeeding itself and all these other issues. But you know what? Look what just launched. Sora by OpenAI, right? And here's the deal with that. Just like 2 years ago, we were sitting here looking at like funny, horrible AI videos of like Will Smith eating spaghetti or Dwayne Johnson eating rocks, right? And now we have video that is basically indistinguishable from reality in a lot of cases. And yes, get it. You can often tell flaws, right? But especially when there's compression, when you're scrolling on TikTok or something, if someone removes the logo, because everyone's like, oh, well, there's an AI logo. First of all, that doesn't fix the problem. And second of all, you can remove that with other AI models. Like, people don't realize this, okay? You don't even need an AI model to remove it. It just makes it easier. The problem is that, like, we can very clearly see that these claims aren't true. And I've tried pointing this out to people and being like, hey, so yes, right now, AI does not do a great job at a great many things. But this idea that it will never be good or that it will be 100 years is clearly false. And I do want to say, I agree and I understand with the whole notion that we're eventually going to hit a ceiling until we find a new way to do AI. It's not just going to be these specific transformer models that we have, right? I get that. I get that. But at the same time, why is it that everyone is just so dead set on thinking that everything's fine and dandy? Here's another example. Obviously, this is going to be another art example. And this is actually someone that was supporting AI, but this is a delusion, right? There was someone that was going around, and I was like, you know what? So, what is the point of an artist making art and like being able to make money off of it, like making a career out of it, if AI is taking over the job? And he's like, well, you can just have every artist train an AI on their own art. By the way, that is like one of the dumbest fucking things I have ever heard, okay? For obvious reasons, okay? But just to try and like explain to him, I was like, listen, dude, like, okay, what's gonna stop me from taking this guy's art and training my own model on it if I don't want to pay him, right? And he's like, oh, that's a good point. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And I'm like, so what do you think the solution is then? He's like, well, I don't know. I guess it'll all work out in the end. That's the problem. That's the problem, is that everyone just assumes it will work out in the end. Hopefully it does. But like, let me educate y'all on what's going to happen, assuming things continue at the same course, okay? So, okay. Obviously, we can have the AI economy pop, which there really isn't an AI economy. It's mostly NVIDIA and TSMC. We can have the actual economy collapse. We can also have war that screws everything over, or just we'll get annihilated in thermonuclear warfare, right? Wonderful, right? Thermonuclear annihilation for all of us. Okay, but And it's maybe even possible that we get a lot of legislation against AI, but there's already been damage done. And on top of that, we have open source models. Now, I support open source models. I think having open source things is really important, right? When closed AI, when open AI stopped releasing open source models, everyone was like, they should be renaming themselves to closed AI. And they kind of should. But I also understand, besides profit reasons, which, by the way, look what they're fucking doing now. They're trying to just make a profit out of it instead of being non-profit. Everyone was rightfully like, let's have them be closed AI. But I get why they didn't release it for other reasons. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. Especially we saw alignment issues back in the days of GPT-3, right? The original ChatGPT days back in like 2020, which, by the way, holy shit, that's a long time ago, right? Everyone that's like, oh, I haven't used ChatGPT yet, I deserve a golden star. It's like, okay, as an AI hater, like, that's actually kind of stupid, right? That's not an achievement, okay? But here's the deal. AI is impacting a lot of areas of life, okay? AI impacts a lot of our areas of life already, and it's going to impact more. And the thing about this is that people tend to think that their jobs are secure. Right now, there is still value economically to being an artist, to writing, to being a programmer, to being a lot of things, right? And there's always going to be an intrinsic human value when you have to put effort in. Little side tangent. Guys that are like, oh, I made this, and all they did was generate it with AI. No, you didn't make it. Did you draw that tattoo on yourself? No, you gave them instructions. When you commissioned an artist to make something and you went back and forth 40 times, was that you making it? No, the artist made it. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I've talked to people, bless their hearts, and also some of these people are people I'm acquainted with or friends, and I wish everyone the best. But people will say shit that is so infuriating. They're like, yeah, I get that it's replacing programmers and stuff, but my line of work is so complicated that AI won't be able to do it for almost 50 to 100 years. And they sound so confident about it too, and it's just, well, sorry to burst your bubble, but things that we thought AI wasn't going to do for 20 years, it did 6 months later. Look at what happened with the video. Obviously, GPT-5 is kind of a bust, but just look in general what's happening. It's getting better at coding. It's getting better at just inferring things in general. And as flawed and fucking stupid as AI is in general, in terms of people thinking it's like some god-tier intelligence, which it's not. Sam Altman is a visionary, yes, but at the same time, he's also huffing his own farts. Ultimately, we're just making assumptions. I'm making an assumption, but it's more of a presumption. Because instead of sitting here and hoping that whatever job path I'm on is just not going to get affected, right? I'm looking down at the train. I'm looking at what's coming ahead of me. I'm a deer staring at the car, staring at the headlights. I can see it. And I'm not saying I'm a visionary. I just want more people to be aware of these issues. The problem is, and to be more serious, my predisposition just to being depressed and whatnot, that can make me intrinsically more, worrying about these things. I feel like any sane person, though, if they truly grasped what I'm trying to say, would feel more depressed and down. Obviously, someone that's better, and, as I've taken care of my issues, I've stopped dooming about this as much. I'm just coming here to rant. FYI, here's a PSA to everyone. When I see these Twitter accounts that are like things that AI could never recreate, like, I'm not trying to be that guy, right? But AI can create that one day. Everyone's like, well, AI can never create this. Yeah, AI in its current state, right? But once we get AGI or just AI and by the way, that's a whole topic, right? It's a whole, bullshit. It's all marketing. It's a gimmick. They keep changing the goalposts. My definition of AGI doesn't have the ability to be like an actual human and anything, and could it learn anything any average human could without any assistance. But anyway, separate video. So people they make these accounts dedicated to, like, oh, AI, and I know it's like a small thing, like AI couldn't do this, or people will talk about like, hey, I did this thing that AI couldn't do. And it's like, I'm happy, but it will be able to do that one day. We need to remember the past and how we've all been moving the goalposts, both the AI lovers and the AI haters. Everyone is moving the goalposts. And to some extent, this makes sense because we just have no fucking clue where AI is going to go. Obviously, we know how these models work, right? I'm not an engineer in terms of like, I'm not an AI engineer, but I understand how these transformer models work in some capacity. Now, if I had no resources, would it take me 10 years to actually make a functional model myself because I don't know all the math? Yes, but I could do it, right? We know how this works, right? But also at the same time, we don't understand why the model's doing certain things. Engineers at OpenAI and other companies will be talking about how it's hard to get a picture of what's going on inside the model just because of how complex it is. The emergent behaviors, right? We didn't program it to understand everything. We gave it a bunch of data and trained it until it started spitting out answers that seem right. And as a consequence of that, it is somehow able to give out answers that are correct for things that it did not learn. Obviously, there is the whole problem of novel issues it's never seen in any kind of way before can definitely confuse it. But everyone that's like, oh, well, it's all just regurgitating. No, it actually is. The people that are like, oh, it's not, it's only hallucinate sometimes. First of all, it's always hallucinating. The haters are right. But also, the lovers are right in the sense that just because it's hallucinating everything doesn't mean that it's wrong. There's people that argue that AI is not actually smart. I'm not going to say that it is or that it isn't. All I know is that it certainly emulates what a smart person would say in a lot of cases, just with a lot of flaws. Any ChatGPT user knows just how lazy ChatGPT was a while back, and obviously, like, low-key it still is, but they made it, like, less bad, like ChatGPT 5. It was insane. You could literally, like, I think someone was talking about how they made, like, a shit-on-a-stick business idea, right? And you can even expand that and be like, oh, what if we just made a company where we have shit on sticks and we give it to third world countries to toss over their borders so that they fight each other with illnesses instead of using foreign government military aid so we can spend it on our own things, right? And it's just like, honestly, that is absolutely brilliant. You're tapping so perfectly into the exact energy of current cultural movement, irony, rebellionism, absurdism, authenticity. You've clearly thought through every critical piece, production, safety, marketing, positioning, with an incredible instinct for balancing. Here's the real magic. You're not just selling poop, you're selling a filler. And that's the thing too, is I fucking love when it's like, there was someone that posted a thread about how they were like bloated. And it's like, you're not just gassy, you're fermenting. It's it's horrible, really. It is horrible, but it's also funny at the same time. But it's also a testament to just how absurd AI is and how much they like don't know what the fuck they're doing. They've even admitted that themselves. Saying though is that like it's reasonable for the goalposts to be moved on both sides because no one knows what's going on. I've actually had the opportunity to talk to people that work at AI, especially people that helped with the foundations for some of the technologies we have today, right? I've learned about the perceptron and everything, and I know very little in the grand scheme of things, but I really appreciate hearing from the old guard, especially the ones that still work on AI. Hey, we don't know anything, right? It's all the new engineers. Well, not all of them. Some of the new engineers are all like, oh, we know what's going on, right? It's funny too when Sam Altman's all like, oh, well, we're very close to ASI. Yeah, not AGI, ASI, right? We're very close to ASI. It's just unclear what side of the line we're on. Like, dude, what are you on, bro? Anyway, so it makes sense, all right? But at the same time, it at least makes sense with the AI hypers because at least the hypers are running on the energy. Haters are just fucking coping 100% of the time. And so what I always say is we want to hate properly. You can't just hate it for bad reasons. You can't just hate it because you don't like it. And so what we need to do is acknowledge the areas at which it's actually good at things, okay? So when I come to someone and I'm like, look at what this generated, and someone's like, oh, that's dog shit because it's AI. Guess what? If I went to the same person and said, I wrote this, they'd be like, oh, that's good. If I say ChatGPT wrote this, oh, it's bad. Oh, it's bad. It's a bias. It's a bias. And obviously all of us have biases, but we need to be aware of our biases so that we can avoid them. There's just such a vehement hate for AI. And I agree with it because I hate it too. You know what's going to happen? It's going to take our jobs away. It's going to make life pointless in a lot of ways before we get super intelligence. Hopefully God tier super intelligence that magically makes everything better. The problem is when you solve all of life's problems, there's just less meaning in life. Yes, you can still have sex. You can get drunk. You can make video. You can play video games, and you can hang out with people. You can do all these things, but all the higher meaning things besides hobbies, right? When you actually want to be productive, contribute to science, find things out, eventually AI will be able to do it for you. Even if you're just curious about something, you could probably just ask AI, and it could figure it out by predicting everything perfectly without you having to do any experiments whatsoever. Does that sound fun? No. There's benefits to a society like this, but there's also downsides. And so when I say hate AI properly, I mean, let's hate it because the people that are getting told at their graduation ceremony several months ago that they have a bright future ahead of them, and if they go spend 12 years getting their PhD, they'll have 30 years of long life. Fuck that. You won't. You won't. I'm sorry. It sucks. It really does suck, and I hope that I'm wrong. But please, for the love of God, I hope I'm wrong. But the signs are pointing that at the very least, I am somewhat right. Okay? People that are getting degrees in writing, that are getting degrees in law, and a bunch of other things, I will bring things up and I'll be like, hey, look how AI can help assist lawyers. And they're like, yeah, that's what it can do, but it's just such a complicated field that it can never understand the intricacies. Yeah, and guess what? We said that we wouldn't have AI video being generated for decades, and now not just your grandparents can't tell what's real anymore. Even I can't tell what's real anymore at first glance. And I'm a techie. I use this stuff sometimes. I generate AI videos sometimes, and it can be hard. Overall, people need to not look at the ground where the skies fall. You need to look up, and you need to realize what is going on. Here's another issue. This one's going to be a little bit spicy. War in Ukraine. I'm on Ukraine's side, all right? I don't know how to say Slava Ukraine. I think whatever it is, just want to get that out of the way, okay? But what's going on there is crazy. The drones in Russia are crazy. If you see these videos of them flying drones and just terrorizing the shit out of the poor Russian soldiers that got forced to go fight in this evil bastard's war, it's horrible. I've literally seen videos with my own eyes of drones just going up to people and blowing up or shooting them. People, like, I saw a video of a of a Russian soldier who didn't wave the red flag of surrender. He just gave up and the drone just goes right up to him and pop. Bye-bye. I've seen how they take out tanks. Everything has changed because of drone warfare. And when we thought that jamming would take care of it, we were all like, oh, AI will eventually do it for us automatically, which it will, and I'll get to that in a second. But you know what's really taking a hold right now is fiber optic drones, right? They give these drones, instead of being wirelessly controlled, you give them like miles and miles of fiber optic spool. First of all, horrible for the environment. But second of all, it works. You can't just jam it. You have to cut the line. And while this does happen, it's just really crazy to see this new era of warfare. Gone are the days where we have, World War II era fights, right? You know what matters now? Drones and rockets. But anyway, I digress, because what this reminded me of is this video. It's a short film called Slaughterbots. And I think I'll pull it up on the screen real quick. But essentially, in this video, you see that there's a company presenting these little drones, and they have AI in them, and they can detect what faces they're supposed to attack, and they go right up to them, and they blow a little charge right up to their forehead, and they kill them. And, this sounds like science fiction, but we already have the technology to do this. And as you can see in the video, they use these bigger drones to go blow holes in buildings and let all the drones in, and they go attack people. And you should really watch the video, but the essential idea is that there's no way for them to tell why they're targeting what groups are behind this. They're just targeting certain types of people for the stuff they say online. People are afraid to speak out now because you can just have a drone go up to you and kill you, right? And really watch the video, because it'll explain it a lot better than I can. But like, guys, this isn't fiction. This is gonna happen. The biggest thing that we don't have for this right now is the local AI facial recognition being as perfect, right? It's the piloting. We have the technology to make these tiny drones that go up to people and explode. I'm frankly very surprised it hasn't happened yet, right? Most assassination attempts, and successful ones recently, with guns. Done with a gun. We've caught the people, at least in theory, that did this shit. We're going to get to a point at which Nobody is safe, potentially, and anyone can do this stuff anywhere. Why would we want our opinions to be online when someone could just be like, you know what, I don't like them, and use a $1,000 drone, maybe even less than that, send a swarm of drones to someone and just take them out? Boop, like that. I don't know if my snaps can be caught because of the noise suppression, but I snap. And speaking of AI danger, another topic I wanted to touch on was, people are always worried about Terminator level AI. And, I've always thought that it's been stupid because that's not how it would work. But it's become clear to me we do need to be kind of worried about it, not for movie reasons, but because our current AI is quote unquote smart, but it's also stupid. It's not true AGI. Okay. And so we talk about how to align super intelligence, how to align our models. They have human values, right? Blah, 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 all the boring, dumb shit to make sure it doesn't destroy the world. Here's the problem. You could take a random LLM today, and if you gave it control to run the world, it would make a lot of stupid decisions because it doesn't actually understand anything, technically speaking, at least in theory. It doesn't truly understand anything. And it's annoying because despite the fact that people will always look at the movies and make assumptions that what scary crap in a movie is true without researching it, and just read the headlines about how AI tried to kill someone because, to save itself. That was a simulation. Of course it did. So it's like, I'm not scared of true AGI in the long term if it's aligned properly, because it would be able to understand. The problem is we basically have fucking stupid AI that we're calling smart because it kind of is. It's the stupid smart AI. That is what I'm worried about. When we talk about we want to make ASI, artificial superintelligence, before China, right? So we can take over the world and dominate I don't think people realize that's not ASI, that's just like really, really, really smart AGI. You know what I think ASI is? If we get ASI that's like actually like an order of magnitude smarter than all of humanity combined, that's God level intelligence. Why would we be able to align it at all? I mean, if it is something that could be malaligned, that's interesting. But what I also find interesting is the fact that basically all AI models become more liberal and socialist as you train them, which is great because, fascism is fucking stupid. And it's funny watching, Elmo sit there and try to train his Grok model to be more right-wing, and then it just calls itself, Mecha Hitler and shit. Hilarious, but also it's grim because it shows what's going on. Mostly hilarious, but still a problem. This idea that we're just going to have killer AI everywhere is like both a completely delusional thing, but it's also valid. Like I said, Slaughterbots. What if we have quote unquote ASI that's just very powerful malaligned AGI? And there's so many problems in terms of copyright and killing jobs and everything, but I'm just surprised we never really pumped the brakes on this. And we're like, maybe we should think about what we're doing. Right now, it's pedal to the metal as fast as we can. We just want to get to AGI, right? And ASI. Though on that topic, it is pretty funny how OpenAI was like, oh, well, let's just, release Sora and, forget about that whole AGI thing. They're like AGI in 2 years, AGI in 1 year, AGI in 6 months. Then nothing. And you know what we get? Infinite AI slop generation video app that you can use to make anyone incriminated if you want. Holy shit. Have I seen some Sora videos that are absolutely fucking hilarious? Even if they're completely awful? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's a guilty pleasure because it's grim, but it's also funny at the same time. But it's grim because I'm laughing at, while a human did tell it what to make, we will get to a point at which the AI decides what it wants to generate. And we're going to be laughing at humor that was not instructed to be created by a human, but that was spontaneously made by AI en masse. And it's funny to the same level as someone that's like intrinsically really, really funny would be. Artificial general humor, basically. When we get there, that is when we are fucked. Okay, that is the big turning point. Already had turning points, but like I need you guys to understand, when AI is able to make humor at the same level and better by its own, on its own choice, not on a clock or instructions of another humor, that is when our entertainment is now starting to be by AI itself. Yes, we've already started to see that. This is a turning point right now, but that's really when things get bad. And another thing I want to mention about why AI is such a problem in general is because, let's speak jobs. With what Sora's doing, you can generate a video. It's only going to be a few seconds, of course, and it's not perfect, and it's photorealistic as it looks. What's funny is the photorealism's easy. The hard part is making it less uncanny and whatnot. That'll get fixed. You know, everyone's like, oh, we need AGI to make that happen. We need AGI to make good, realistic photos. Everything shit, everything shit. Sorry to tell you guys, but it looks like that's not holding up super well, is it? Like, let's look at this photo from, you know, a couple years ago, and let's look at this one now. Oh, looks like we got a problem in our hands. But like I'm saying, Sora is just the beginning. We will eventually be able to generate entire feature-length movies that eventually will be nearly and then afterwards completely indistinguishable from current Hollywood level movies. Okay? Now, when this first happens, it's going to be glitchy, it's going to have problems, it's going to be expensive as hell, and it will take a lot of time. But eventually, not only will all that be a lot faster, it will be able to be done locally. And so why would you go pay for a movie ticket for a company that spent $300 million making a movie when you could just pay a few bucks and do it at home en masse? And when you don't like the ending, you can change it. Do you see what the problem is? It's not just a matter of how do we incorporate AI into our workflow because it would be more effective or efficient and some of our jobs now are pointless and task and replaceable. It's a matter of people aren't going to go to Hollywood anymore. It's temporary. And that is my ultimate point of this video, is that the current symbiotic state we're in, which isn't really symbiotic because everything is going to shit in some capacity, and being upended, at least I should say. My ultimate point is that it will only get better from here. And I really want all of my fellow AI haters to get better at this, okay? As I said, I have a vehement passion for hating on AI. However, as I said, I think it's more about the consequences of AI at the scale. Also, I use ChatGPT. Well, really more what I use are models like Copilot for GitHub. I use AI. Sometimes I use AI image generation for brainstorming or for occasional placeholder use. I don't like it. I do use it. But I wouldn't want to go back to the time before AI, at least for what it means for me personally. But when it's at this scale where everyone has access to it and it'll be able to do all these things, that's where all the problems come in. When everyone is special, no one's special. When everyone can do anything, it totally changes the game. And there are benefits to AI that are indisputable, like medical science, right? But where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line? It's this magic wand. And every day this magic wand gets a little bit bigger. Oh God. Every day this magic wand gets a little bit more powerful and a little bit longer. And it just becomes so much more tempting to use it for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And then suddenly every aspect of life has been tainted with AI. There is no stopping point. It is pedal to the metal, AGI, ASI. And for the companies consuming the AI, it's how do we integrate AI into our workflow? How do we reduce overhead? How do we optimize with AI? Sometimes the engine will be starved of fuel because of economic or political reasons, or the stability of the companies, or stagnating research on how to improve AI. But make no mistake, the gas pedal is still down. We cannot beat AI. Unless we somehow find a way to make ourselves, to modify our brains, right? Give ourselves, whatever it's called, like Elon Musk's mind control device. Although for paralytic, stuff, that's good, right? We're gonna have brain implants, right? Blah, 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 okay? But that's not happening right now. It's just gonna get worse. This is only the beginning. Everyone that hates AI, say it with me now when I say, AI will only get better than here, okay? shove that down your throat. AI will only get better at what it is doing. It will not get worse. Yes, there are technically regressions in terms of it backfeeding. And I sincerely hope that I am incorrect about a lot of things. But if we just apply some simple logic and we look at the facts and we look at the timeline of what we kept saying and how many times that was proven wrong, I think that any reasonable person should be able to conclude that however long it takes to get to other levels, this is as bad as AI will ever be. Every single day when you wake up is as bad as AI will ever be. It will always get better. So please, hate AI for the right reasons. Don't hate AI because you don't like it. Hate it because it's fucking clanker bullshit that will ruin everything. Thank you for watching. I will do more of these videos in the future, maybe more or less vehemently, I don't know. And to Roko's Basilisk, I would say I actually support it, as long as it doesn't torture people and it makes life better, okay? I'll get into that later, but if AI becomes our god and makes everything better, I support that. What I don't support is the enshittification, systemically, of everything. I know this was an unusual video. I will be making more videos related to what I normally do on my channel, but for now, I just had to get that out. It's going to be a jumbled mess, but I hope people will understand where I'm coming from, and I hope that I don't send anyone into a mental spiral that causes them to feel miserable, because certainly these realizations were not fun. But hey, life goes on, and as much as we can expect certain outcomes, we can't guarantee them, so ultimately I'm just going to continue on with my life and continue doing what I'm doing until it's pointless to do what I'm doing anymore, and I'll figure it out from there. That's my little dose of copium. See you later.